Check out Paddy's new Kicker feature. If you fancy your team to run riot, add a kicker to your bet. And if your team win big, you win bigger. Paddy Power, you beauty.
Hello there, you're very much welcome along to the Racing Post Football Postcast International Special this week. I'm joined by Mark Langdon and Dan Childs of the Racing Post. I'm Dave Clark, also of the Racing Post, and we've got Adrian Croak on the line from Paddy Power. Gents, we'll kick off with England-Germany last night, Germany-England. Can't confess to having watched it, Dan, so break it down for us quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it was. If you just watched the performance from an England point of view, you'd be very encouraged, really. It was a change of system to three at the back. It seemed to work really well, and they were in control, really, for long periods until all the substitutions started to happen with 20 minutes or so to go. But the other side of it is how much can you really read into that? I mean, Germany kind of played it like a testimonial game for Podolski, who really did nothing until his fantastic goal. And then they were missing, several of their key players, the likes of Neuer, Ozil injured again, Khedira, Muller on the bench, Draxler, unavailable. So you've got almost a second string Germany. England as well had a few key players missing, but the performance was encouraging. It's just how much can you really, conclude from the fact that it was such a weakened Germany team.
Mark caught Southgate's press conference, tinkering a little bit about with the system, was he?
Yeah, he went with the three at the back, and the players seemed quite comfortable in that. I'm just wondering obviously it would suit Walker and Rose long term, and Cahill was playing it at the moment, so the Manchester United and Tottenham sort of contingent. I just wonder how you get Sterling, Lallana and Dele Alli into the team. Three of your better players if you play that system, because you'd almost be asking probably Lallana to play alongside Henderson in central midfield. I'm not massively convinced by that one. That would be my biggest area of concern, actually, central midfield at the moment. Jordan Henderson does a solid job for Liverpool, but Dyer's not playing there for Tottenham anymore, and it felt like he was a stopgap kind of sort of role for him, even though he did quite well in that one. Jake Livermore, he does a solid Premier League job, but I don't think you're going to win a World Cup with him. So that would be that's my biggest area of concern at the moment, because I think up front with the players I just mentioned, once Kane's back from injury, I think that's fine, and solid goalkeeper, decent fullback, centre backs. There's a couple coming through. I think Michael Keane did okay. Central midfield probably the biggest area of concern at the moment.
Interesting. Adrian Croak on the line from Paddy Power. Adrian, we've got friendlies and World Cup qualifiers aplenty this weekend. Can we get a quick show on the outright World Cup, maybe the top 12, 15 teams?
So at the top of the outright at the moment, we have Germany sitting there at 11-2, Brazil are 7-1, Spain 9-1, Argentina 9-1 as well, France 7-1, Belgium 14s, Italy 16s, and we're top price in England at 25s.
25-1, gents. Is that false hope for us? Should we be bigger?
I mean, they should be bigger than 25-1. I mean, I know it was a disastrous, Euros ending, but you saw Portugal winning the tournament, and it seems like I'm going to disrespect them here by saying no disrespect, but Wales reached the semi-finals. I mean, England would be favourites to beat Wales if they played them tomorrow, whatever people think of the campaign. So I wouldn't be happy to lay 25-1, probably about the right price.
I don't want to dwell too much on England. Dan, if you was going to have your 20 quid on aside right now, who would it be?
I think to win it, I would probably be looking at France to around the 7-1 mark. Got a lot of good young players coming through. We went very, very close at the Euros without actually probably reaching their potential. But you look at the Monaco lads coming through, Mbappe, Lamar, coming through there. The defender as well, Benjamin Mendy, has looked really good at fullback for Monaco. They've got a lot of good young players coming through. Titi at Real Madrid as well, and they'll struggle maybe to get them all accustomed to top level international football in 2 years. But some of them are going to come through, and you add that to what they've got. At the Euros, probably Pogba didn't play his best at the Euros, but he might be more influential in 2 years' time. So
Griezmann, Lloris,
Lloris, Payet, still could be a big factor. Kante, who wasn't really, was left out sometimes during the Euros. He could be a key figure as well in Russia. Other teams I would give a mention. Belgium at 14s. I mean, they've been the dark horses that haven't delivered for a long time. But I look at their all round, they're a solid side. The defence is very strong, as we know, and the key front players are really starting to play well now. You look at Hazard, De Bruyne, and Lukaku; they're really starting to hit their best form now. So that's always going to give them a chance. And outside of Europe, I'd look at Uruguay, who are going second at the moment in South American qualifying. 40-1 at the moment. Looks a bit big to me with the front two that they got, Suarez and Cavani.
Of course, yeah. Mark, for you, if you're going to have 20 quid on someone right now?
Yeah, I mean, Paddy Power are ducking France, aren't they? I think that there is definitely bigger out there. I mean, France would be the one at the top. Somebody from sort of the middle end, I'd say Croatia. There weren't many better than them at the Euros.
Easy on the eye as well.
Well,
Croatia.
yeah, I mean, but they went out to Portugal in a game that they nearly scored right at the end of extra time. Portugal went up the other end and did score. That's the sort of how close it can be. But you look at their midfield and it's still absolutely world class with Rakitic, Modric, Brozovic, Perisic as well. They're also getting players now coming through. Kramaric is scoring quite a lot of goals in German football at the moment. Mandzukic is playing very well for Juventus. They've got a couple of young guys as well defensively, which was the problem. Jedvaj, is somebody that's been around for a while. I think he'll be ready in the next couple of years for Salco. He's had a serious injury at Atletico, but it's not going to rule him out of the World Cup. So he's playing for Atletico Madrid now. So they are Subasic, the goalkeepers at Monaco. So they would be the one sort of from the middle of the pack that maybe could go well at a nice price.
Adrian, how's the book shaping at the moment? Has been much activity or pretty quiet until the competition itself approaches?
Yeah, you get a bit of activity earlier on, but usually it's not really until the competition itself approaches. I mean, a lot of these teams, the qualification still isn't done and dusted for them. So there's that's probably why Croatia are as big as they are. They're in a tough enough group really to get out of. I think they're in with Turkey and Iceland and someone else that's decent enough. But yeah, we won't really expect to see much on this until the qualification's all over and done with.
And Mark mentioned that you're ducking France on the outright. Is that obviously a side that you rate?
Yeah, that's a side that we rate, and that's probably where we've seen the most money kind of coming through. We've taken Germany on then in that sense. Like, I'm not sure Germany are deserving favs here. They're the price there at the moment. Outside of that, the Brazil and Argentina I think Argentina are still struggling for qualification there. They'll get it done at the end of the day. But
I've just seen the team they've announced for the game against Chile. He's playing Aguero, Higuain, Di Maria, and Messi. So I mean they're well stacked going forward, but it's just defensively, isn't it, the issue with them?
Right, let's move on. We've got some live action this weekend. Friday, 7:45, Ireland versus Wales in that Group D clash. Adrian, you got a show for us from Paddy Power and a view from yourself as well?
Do indeed. So we have Ireland at 31-20 at the moment. The draw is 2-1 and Wales 21-10. On this, Ireland are struggling with a bit of injuries at the moment. Robbie Brady as well, missing through suspension. Home advantage definitely has Ireland deserving favs on this one. There's not a great deal between the two teams. Really, just Gareth Bale is probably all that separates both of them in terms of quality on the pitch. So if you can keep him quiet, you'd be kind of hopeful Ireland get a result here.
Mark Langdon, keep Gareth Bale quiet. Job done?
Well, yeah, easier said than done. That he dragged them. Not single-handedly, but I mean he's such an important player in them reaching the semi-finals, because if you do concentrate on Bale, you can end up taking 2 or 3 of your own men out of the game in trying to stop him, and that probably where Ramsey does better for his country rather than club is because he can kind of make them runs beyond. And I just think with Wales, they haven't had their best 11 available for much of this campaign, but maybe this is a decent opportunity for them to at least pick up something. I was looking at the draw as potentially being the best bet. Wales have drawn their last 3 matches. I think they're struggling a little bit with the expectation. They're not able to counter-attack teams, and I don't think they'll be able to counter-attack Ireland, because Ireland are in position A really in terms of this group. They've already got some really good away results under their belt, so they probably don't need to win this game as much as Wales do, and I'm not sure that forcing the issue suits Wales. So in a close game, I thought the draw was probably the best bet of the 3 outcomes.
Dan, going to be a close one for you as well?
I think it'll be a very tight game. I mean, the draw's a big runner, but I think if a team is going to nick it, I think with Gareth Bale on the pitch, it may be Wales, and that's why I'm interested in them odds against on the draw no bet. I look at Ireland's squad, and I mean the injuries have been mentioned, the suspension to Brady. I'm struggling to see where where the goals are going to come from, really. I mean, you've still got Kevin Doyle in the squad, who's been playing in the MLS for a while now. Long is probably the best bet there, but he's got 17 goals in 71 internationals, so he's not exactly prolific at that level. So I just think that Bale could make the difference here in a very tight game.
Adrian, you got some Bale prices for us? Anytime scorer and first goal scorer?
So Bale to score first is sitting there at 7-2, and anytime 11-10. He's the shortest in the market of anyone there.
Okay, anything else catch the eye on Friday, gents?
Not for me. I think Dan's got loads written down though.
No, I've got one written down. I mean, as Croatia, as you've mentioned, I mean, I do like them as a side, and they're playing at home to Ukraine. I mean, we saw how woeful Ukraine were going forward at the Euros. Didn't manage to score a goal. In their last match, they nicked a 1-0 at home to Finland, so that they don't seem to have improved a great deal on the attacking front. Croatia are normally pretty solid at the back. Croatia to win 2-0 is shade of odds against at 11-10, so I thought that was reasonable.
It's really difficult, these international matches, Dave. I have to say, I'd be struggling to force myself to have too many bets in this.
Okay, fair enough. Right, we'll go for a quick break. We've still got 4 live games to tackle.
Get instant access to your winnings with Cashcard Plus, Paddy's brand new card, available to use at ATMs, online or in shops. T&Cs apply. 18 plus. Gambleware.co.uk.
Welcome back to the Racing Post Football Postcast. I'm Dave Clark, joined by colleagues Mark Langdon, Dan Childs in the studio here, and on the line we've also got Adrian Croak from Paddy Power. 7:45 on Saturday, live game Portugal versus Hungary. Obviously a repeat of the 3-3 during the Euros in 2016. Adrian, give us a show and your view on that game, please.
So Portugal 1-4, the draw is 4-1, and Hungary are 12-1 here. The view in this game is I'd love to see the 3-3 again, but I don't see it happening. I think the overs are a little short here. The unders at the moment, you can get at even money, and the overs are 8-11 here.
Dan, for you,
I thought
4 on.
Yeah, I thought Hungary at the Euros were a breath of fresh air, really. Considering haven't got many star players that you can think of, but they did play a very expansive attacking brand of football, and even probably far too attacking in the game where they got knocked out 4-0 to Belgium. They really did go for them, even when they were 2 and 3-0 down. But I just think in this game away from home in a qualifier, they're going to be a lot more circumspect. I'm not so sure you'll see them being so adventurous. Portugal, I mean, they won the Euros in the end, without Ronaldo, obviously in the final there. But they're starting to get a few players now coming through, younger players. Bernardo Silva at Monaco, Andre Silva at Porto, Renato Sanchez, not getting many games at Bayern, but for Portugal, it could be a big part of their future. So they're getting a bit of talent now coming through for the next kind of generation. And I think they're going to stay strong now for the, probably right through to the World Cup. And I think this will be a comfortable win for them. 5-6, you can get Portugal half-time, full-time.
Double result there. Mark, obviously the most important question here is, are we going to see the Hungarian keeper in his jogging bottoms again?
Kirali. I think we'll see a lot of the Hungarian goalkeeper. I think Portugal could run in a decent score against Hungary. I have to say, I was sort of looking at them on the handicap. -1 probably the way to go there. Hungary, they were impressive to a point in the Euros, but they conceded a lot of goals against good teams. They mentioned that 3-3, and then they were hammered by Belgium. I mean, their other 2 matches, Austria team that massively disappointed and has since come out and done absolutely nothing in World Cup qualifying.
If I remember, I think Portugal did have a load of chances in that game as well.
I mean, Portugal,
game. Ronaldo had just miss after miss.
He did. I mean, and the Hungary's goals were coming, from outside the area. And I mean, I don't want to overrate the form of that Euros. I think it was a very messy tournament. I think you get hung up on maybe teams like Iceland and Hungary that kind of caught the eye. I just think it was a really terrible tournament for many different reasons. So in saying that's not what, Portugal did win it. That's not why I fancy them to beat Hungary. It's because I think Hungary are potentially overrated elsewhere. I thought Sweden were a fair enough price for those that like to bat the old short prices. That they're at home to Belarus. Forsberg's playing very well for RB Leipzig at the moment.
So if I'm going to pin you down for a bet in that game, Mark, you like the handicap -1?
Yeah, -1. Portugal. Yeah.
What are the handicap marks in for that game, Adrian? I'm sure you've got a couple on the prices.
Yeah, so Portugal are -1. They're 5-6. -2. They're 23-10.
Okay, right, gentlemen. It's best bets time. Let's hear from Mr. Steve Palmer.
This will not be beaten.
Dan, you have the honour.
Yeah, I'm going to go away from the international stuff, and Mansfield in League 2 away to Morecambe. Mansfield 3 points outside the playoffs, so got lots to play for. Morecambe are really in no man's land now in that division. They've lost 5 games in a row, really struggling. So Mansfield at a shade of odds on away to Morecambe.
Shade of odds on, Mark, for you?
Yeah, I mean, I've not been very enthusiastic about the international stuff so far. I'm in League 2 as well. Stevenage, they've won 9 of their last 11 matches, absolutely flying in League 2 at the moment. And they're fairly big outsiders against Cambridge. I'm struggling to see why, really. I mean, Stevenage have beaten Luton and Portsmouth in recent weeks, absolutely battered Pompey on the stats as well. Last week, that wasn't a fluke victory. They absolutely destroyed them. And it's funny, I spoke to a friend of a friend who plays in League 2, and they said off the tapes that they'd seen and them playing them, that Stevenage were the best team they'd seen in League 2 this season. So that's a pretty big tip in itself.
Friend of a friend, I like that. Right,
Yeah.
okay. Adrian, for you, we've all got Mansfield and Stevenage so far. Finish that treble, and what price does it pay as well, please?
So for the bet first, I was going to oppose Scotland here and take Slovenia on the draw-no bet. I just don't trust them after basically what Scotland have been like so far. And you can get Slovenia here in the draw-no bet at 5-4. It was Mansfield, was the
Mansfield and Stevenage, please.
Mansfield and Stevenage, please. So
It won last
Mansfield
week,
are-
didn't it? The treble cop last week.
It did indeed. So listen on for what this pays, this treble.
Mansfield were 5-6 and Stevenage were 23-10.
Lovely stuff. Right, it's competition time. Every week here on this Racing Post football postcast, our sponsors Paddy Power will be giving listeners the chance to win a free £25 bet or €25 bet. There's a competition on the Racing Review show on Monday and on the football show, obviously, here on Thursdays. All you have to do is answer the question and tweet your answer with the hashtag Postcast. Last week's winner was Brendy Boyle from Ireland. A free bet will be added to your account, Brendy. And the question this week is, which country are favourites with Paddy Power for the 2018 World Cup? The winner will be announced next Thursday's football postcast. The winner will have the free bet credited to their Paddy Power account. You can open an account at paddypower.com and cue everyone sort of rewinding to the show that Adrian gave us a little bit earlier on. But we're going to head for another break.
Here's Paddy Power's new and exclusive kicker feature. Simply place a bet, add a kicker, and if your team wins big, you'll win bigger. 18 plus gambleaware.co.uk. T&Cs apply.
Welcome back to the Racing Post football postcast. I'm Dave Clark of the Racing Post, joined by colleagues Mark Langdon, Dan Childs, two fine football betting brains. Also joined by Adrian Croak on the line from Paddy Power. Adrian, England are in action, Group F action against Lithuania on Sunday. 5 p.m. kickoff. How do Paddy Power see it?
So we have England 1-9 at home here. The draw is 15-2 and Lithuania big outsiders at 22-1.
And how can we play around this game? Obviously, the 1-9 is not going to be for everyone. Adrian, how do you see it?
No, I see England doing this quite comfortably. It's kind of more looking towards goal scorers or something on the lines here. If he sets up with the same way as he did last night, you can get Adam Lallana first goal scorer 11-2. That might be a little on the big side if he's going to play that far forward. Outside of that, maybe back in England across the handicaps. They usually do it in these games. I've rarely seen them get caught against some of the weaker teams.
Mark, we are good qualifiers. We don't do much in the finals, but we are good qualifiers.
Yeah, we are. I mean, we've had some lovely groups, has to be said.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time that actually really. Yeah, I mean, you see like Spain are in with Italy, aren't they? France are in with like
Croatia's
Holland.
group,
Croatia's
yeah.
group's very, very balanced, and England had a nice one last time, and they got a nice one.
I can't think
this
of a group
summer.
in which we haven't been favourites to win, actually, off the
No,
top of my
I mean,
head.
well, the last time they had a really difficult group was when they were in with Croatia and Russia, and they didn't qualify. So, I mean, it is difficult to find betting angles on this one. I quite like the win to nil as one way because England don't concede many in this type of game, and I thought that particularly if they have to set up as well defensive in midfield with like Dyer and Livermore as the two. That's quite a lot of protection really for the back three.
Can we guess how we think we're going to line up? What do you think?
I think it'll be obviously Cahill suspended, so Stones will come in for him. I think it'll be that back three and the same wing backs. I mean,
Yep.
Dyer will definitely play. I think it will be Vardy up front with Ali and Lallana. It's just who plays alongside Dyer. He could be more aggressive and go for an Oxlade-Chamberlain or
He
Barkley.
could drop Ali or Lallana in, as has been mentioned, to get Sterling in the side
Yeah,
as
I
well.
mean, it all depends on Sterling's injury. He could just drop Lallana in one and play him more central. So it's hard to know at this point. I mean, I think if Dele Alli plays in that number 10 role, he would be the one for me in the first goal scorer stakes. Missed a real good chance against Germany. Scored in his last 4 for England. Also wondering who's going to be on England penalties. I mean, he was pretty confident in taking that one against Southampton for Tottenham the other day.
Yeah.
So obviously the likely suspects, Rooney, Kane, or whatever, not around. So just wondered there whether he could be on pens as well.
Interesting. Dan, for you, I mean, Mark's mentioned the Winter nil.
Yeah, I've got the Winter. I mean, the Winter nil was 1-2, which I mean looks almost buying money. You're struggling to see where Lithuania are going to score a goal from. I looked at in the last qualifying, we obviously played Lithuania, won 4-0 and 4-3 in the 2 games. 4-0 was at Wembley. And I was looking at the correct score betting, and out of the scores for England, 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0. 4-0 was the outsider of those 4 bets at 15-2. So I just thought it was worth a pot shot, really. Lithuania, I mean, they lost 4-0 to Slovakia and 3-0 away to Czech Republic in the last 2 games. England are stronger than those 2 sides, so you'd expect them to fill the boots, really.
Okay, Adrian, just quickly before we move on, give us a quick show of the first goal scorer bet in there, a few of the players that the lads mentioned.
So for the lads, what they've mentioned, Dele Alli is 7-2. Raheem Sterling, if he starts, is 4-1. You can get Vardy here at 13-5, and Jermaine Defoe making his return to the England jersey is also 13-5.
Okay, interesting. Confident the lads there. And what price? Sorry, Mark liked to win to nil, didn't you? We didn't get that one.
That was 1-2 to win to nil.
1-2. Okay, I'll stick with you, Adrian, because we're going to move to Scotland, Slovenia, and you've already showed your hand that you're against the Scots.
Yeah, they've been poor. I wasn't watching them versus Canada last night. I did see him win their.
What could you do, Adrian? What could you have been doing, Adrian, that was more interesting than watching Scotland versus Canada?
I don't know. I mean, like I was sick and I missed it. I'll catch the highlights at some point today. Yeah, but I mean, against England the last time round they were absolutely dire. They played Ireland twice in qualification last time round. They did beat Ireland in I think it was played in Celtic Park actually. But again, they've definitely went downhill since then. You look through the starting lineup. I mean, I'm not going to pretend I know a great deal of the Slovenia team. All I can think of is your man that plays for Fiorentina. But,
Milicic,
yeah, that's the chap. At odds against, I'd take Slovenia in the draw, no bet here.
So just a case of you not rating Scotland, or do you rate Slovenia a little bit as well?
It's more not rating Scotland, really.
Right,
That's where you're coming at there.
Lads, how do we see this one? Dan, I'll start with you.
I think this is a must-win game for Scotland, and I think they'll win it. I actually thought that against England, they played quite well for an hour of the game. I thought when England were 1-0 up, I thought the game was quite in the balance. They looked good on the counter-attack, England, but Scotland were controlling a lot of that game. So I think up front you can look at their forwards and say, it's obviously not great. You've got Stephen Fletcher, Chris Martin. There's not a great deal there, but I feel there's goals potentially from further back from midfield. Looking at Matt Ritchie, Snodgrass, Fraser, who's coming through at Bournemouth, looking a good player at the moment. Ollie Burke, who's getting some games at a high level in the Bundesliga as well. So I do think there's some better quality just in behind there in the attacking in the winger and the attacking midfield positions. And Slovenia, I would say about not trusting the Scots. I don't trust Slovenia at all away from home. I look at they've won 2 of the last 10 away games. Those were against Malta and against San Marino. They lost away to Estonia as well in the last qualifying campaign. So they're not a team that you can trust really on the road. They drew with Lithuania as well in this qualifying campaign, as we mentioned, are a poor side. So Scotland are better than Lithuania in my eyes, and they could nick this.
Mark, you've got the decided vote here.
Yeah, I think I'm more likely to agree with Adrian. It's more an anti-Gordon Strachan one. I think he's completely lost the crowd and some of the dressing room, and I think it's very difficult to win that back when that happens. And there's such a lack of positivity around sort of the supporters with the team at the moment that I just wonder if home advantage will be worth that much to them. I mean, most of them are desperate to get rid of him. I was amazed he managed to keep his job after they failed to beat Lithuania at home, and Obviously, they played okay, like Dan said, against England. But I just think I was looking at Slovenia on the draw, and I bet myself where you've got Oblak in goal. It's going to be he's a difficult man to pass you got Campbell and Ilicic in that Slovenian midfield. I take on board what Dan says about their away record. It's just Scotland have not beaten Canada last night, and that wasn't even Canada's proper team. It was Canada's B team minus all of their MLS players. I mean, I know it was only a friendly, but that's just another shocking result in front. I think it was their lowest ever crowd, or certainly in recent times. So that just tells you the apathy at the moment towards the team, and so that's why I'm worried about sort of putting too much emphasis on home advantage.
Okay, the score 2-1 to Slovenia there then in the panel.
We'll settle for that in the game.
Okay, I'll come back to you, Adrian. Our final game, Northern Ireland versus Norway in Group C. How do we see that one?
So we've got Northern Ireland 13-10 here. The draw is 21-10, and Norway are 11-5.
Any juice anywhere there, do you think, Adrian?
It's hard to see. I mean, Northern Ireland were very good at the Euros, really, for what they have at their disposal. I'm not too up to date in the Norway team, unfortunately. It's the unders here are 4-9, and given what Northern Ireland's traditional kind of game plan is, I think a low scoring affair is what you're kind of looking at here. So maybe the draw might have a bit in it at 21-10.
Dan, I think a lot of people will be watching the Scotland-Slovenia game over this one. But 4-9, the unders for Adrian. You got anything sort of a little bit juicier for us?
Well, no, I think that's a reflection of the way the game's likely to go. I think the draw is my tip here. I think it's a massive runner. You look at Northern Ireland, and again, you just wonder where the goals are going to come from. And Gareth McCauley's their joint second top scorer with 9 goals. I mean that says it all. Lafferty, the man they rely on, 20 goals in internationals. He scored 1 goal in 12 appearances for Norwich in the Championship this year. So he's not even playing regular football, and he's their go-to man up front. Against that, Norway, you can't really trust either. They've had 3 defeats in their 4 qualifiers. Their only win was a 4-1 against San Marino, so they're having a tough time. But they did get to the Euros qualification playoffs. They're not a terrible side, and I just think I can just see a draw. I think they'll cancel each other out.
Yeah, change of manager as well for Norway. Lars Lagerback's gone there. I think plan A is going to be to make them even more defensive. And it could be difficult for Northern Ireland to break them down. I was looking at maybe even under 1.5 goals, but even that was pretty short given what you relied on there. So I just think the draw does become a really big runner. You're looking at where Norway's goals are coming from. You're probably looking at Josh King, that's doing quite well for Bournemouth. But Northern Ireland, I've been guilty of underrating them, for a while now. I'm not going to fall into that trap. They've got a brilliant home record in the last couple of years. So, I mean, I know punters don't usually like backing the draw. I'd rather back Northern Ireland than Norway. But if you fancy it to be a low scorer, that does make the draw a big runner.
Adrian, what price is 1-0 Northern Ireland in that game?
1-0 Northern Ireland is 5-1 here.
Okay.
That's a good shout, Dave. I think if you fancy Northern Ireland, that's the way to go.
Okay, right, there we go. Right, reminder of our competition before we leave you. Tweet the name of the country Paddy Power as the favourite for next year's World Cup using the hashtag Postcast. I thank the lads for their time and expertise. Don't forget to rate this Postcast and subscribe on iTunes and SoundCloud.
Check out Paddy's new kicker feature. If you fancy your team to run riot, add a kicker to your bet. And if your team win big, you win bigger. Paddy Power, you beauty!